Ever find yourself scrolling through Twitter during an election and you're like, who is really behind all this? Like all these perfectly timed tweets and rallies.
Right.
Well, today we're diving deep into the world of the political party agent,
Yeah.
a role that has way more influence than you might think.
It really is the perfect example of never meet your heroes,
Oh,
right?
oh.
We put all these politicians on a pedestal, but behind the scenes, it's often a political party agent who's making sure everything runs smoothly.
Making sure the wheels keep turning.
Exactly.
And we're lucky enough to have some serious insider info today. We're talking RoleCatcher's career guides to break down this surprisingly important job.
Yeah, they've got it all laid out, what these folks actually do, what the work environment's like, how to get started. We're talking the A to Z of being a political party agent.
Okay, so let's get into it. RoleCatcher paints a picture of a political party agent's day-to-day as this mix of meticulous planning and honestly some pretty intense pressure.
Yeah, think about it. They're the ones holding the purse strings, right? Managing budgets for everything from those like catchy slogans you see on billboards to the logistics of getting candidates where they need to be.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Hopefully.
And it's not just about crunching numbers, right?
Right.
They're also crafting agendas, writing speeches, and basically making sure the party's message is heard loud and clear.
Oh, absolutely. And with the rise of social media, this role has taken on a whole new dimension.
Oh, totally.
Remember how Party X used hyper-targeted ads to reach voters in the last election?
Yeah.
That's the kind of data-driven strategy a political party agent needs to master now.
So it's like they need to be fluent in spreadsheets.
Right.
And political spin.
Yes.
That's fascinating and a little bit scary.
A little bit of both.
But speaking of a different kind of pressure, let's talk about the work environment. RoleCatcher describes it as this dynamic blend of office work and, well, let's call it political maneuvering.
Yeah, you've got to be comfortable rubbing shoulders with everyone from interns to high-ranking officials, all while like fielding calls from journalists and keeping a cool head under pressure.
And I imagine those typical interactions with party members that they mentioned in the guide
Oh, yeah.
can get pretty interesting, especially when you've got like strong personalities with different opinions all vying for influence.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't a job for wallflowers.
No.
You need serious diplomacy skills to navigate those internal politics and keep everyone on message.
It kind of reminds me of that saying, it's all fun and games until.
Right.
Like, I bet the typically low-stress environment they describe goes out the window once election season hits.
You think?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're not just managing a budget, you're managing expectations, personalities, and
Right.
probably a whole lot of caffeine
Oh,
to
yeah.
keep up with those late nights and tight deadlines.
And all under the watchful eye of the public and the press.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, RoleCatcher did not shy away from the pros and cons of this career path, and some of them were pretty eye-opening.
It's a good reality check.
Yeah.
Because while the potential to shape political decisions and climb the career ladder is alluring, you also have to be comfortable with intense competition, long hours. And let's be honest, facing your fair share of criticism.
It's definitely not a career for the faint of heart.
Not at all. Makes you wonder if the rewards outweigh the risks,
Right.
which I guess is a good segue into those pros and cons that RoleCatcher highlighted.
Yes. Let's unpack that a bit, because they really painted a balanced picture.
He did. On the one hand, you have the potential to shape political decisions, advocate for your party's interest, and really climb that career ladder. But on the flip side,
Yeah.
you're looking at intense competition, unpredictable hours, and the very real possibility of facing public scrutiny.
Yeah, and your job security is pretty much tied to the party's success
Right.
if they're not doing well.
Exactly.
It sounds like you're updating your resume.
Yeah, it's a high-stakes environment for sure, but for the right person, that chance to be at the heart of the political machine, even behind the scenes,
Right.
can be incredibly appealing.
Totally. So for those who are thinking, okay, this actually sounds kind of amazing, how do I even get started? RoleCatcher suggests diving headfirst into the world of internships and volunteering.
Yeah, it's all about building those connections and getting your foot in the door. And remember that whole data analysis trend we talked about?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Having some tech skills under your belt could give you a serious leg up these days.
So you're saying coding bootcamp A&D political rallies. That's dedication.
Why not?
But what about those already working as party agents looking to level up? RoleCatcher was a little vague on the specifics, but they did mention specializing in a particular area.
Yeah, that piqued my curiosity too. It'd be fascinating to see what those specializations look like. But even without knowing the details, it's clear that this role can be an excellent springboard to other careers in politics or
Oh,
government.
for sure.
Right.
It's like getting a master class in how the system actually works from the inside out.
Exactly. You're gaining invaluable experience in administration, communication, strategic thinking, which are highly sought-after skills in any field.
Absolutely.
Right.
And speaking of real-world experience, RoleCatcher included this example profile of an entry-level political party agent. I'm thinking we dive into that next to get a better sense of what starting out in this role actually looks like.
Absolutely. I think it'll be really illuminating.
Okay, so picture this. You're fresh out of college, maybe armed with a shiny new political science degree, and you land this entry-level party agent gig. Suddenly, you're not just reading about political theory, you're putting it to practice.
Right. And you're not just fetching coffee either.
No.
You're assisting with budget management, prepping for meetings, even conducting research to support party initiatives.
It's like a crash course in applied politics.
Exactly. It's an incredible opportunity to learn the ropes, build a professional network, and make a tangible impact, even at an entry level.
Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I do want to circle back to something RoleCatcher mentioned that I think is crucial in a field like this.
What?
Navigating those tricky ethical waters because, let's face it, politics can be a bit of a minefield.
Oh, tell me about it. It's true. There are inherent ethical considerations that come with wielding this kind of influence and handling sensitive information.
Exactly. And I was particularly interested in how political party agents deal with those inevitable conflicts that arise within a party.
Oh, yeah.
After all, everyone has their own opinions.
Right.
And in politics, those opinions tend to be pretty strong.
Very strong.
Right. So how do you keep everyone on the same page when there's so much room for disagreement and debate?
According to RoleCatcher, it all boils down to diplomacy tact and a healthy dose of conflict resolution skills.
Yeah.
A good party agent knows how to find common ground, promote respectful dialogue, and ultimately ensure the party presents a united front even amidst those internal differences.
So you're saying they need to be masters of persuasion and compromise.
Absolutely. It's about balancing individual voices with the party's overall goals, and that's no easy feat, especially in the heat of an election when tensions are high.
And speaking of high-pressure situations, let's not forget about the elephant in the room. Or maybe we should say the donkey, A&D, the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Money.
Right.
I mean, we can't talk about politics without talking about finances, right?
You're right. It's the lifeblood of any political operation.
Right.
And I'm sure our listeners are curious about the financial side of being a party agent.
Exactly. So let's get down to brass tacks. What can a political party agent expect to earn? RoleCatcher was a bit vague on the specifics, mentioning that salary ranges vary based on experience, location, the size of the political party.
Which makes sense. A small local party wouldn't have the same budget as a national organization.
Right.
Right.
But they did say that salaries tend to fall within the average range for administrative roles in the public or political sectors.
Right.
So maybe don't expect to be rolling in dough.
Well, unless you're a whiz with those fundraising campaigns. But in all seriousness, while the salary might not be the biggest draw, it's clear that the intangible rewards of this job, the influence, the connections, the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than yourself, are what truly motivate people in this field.
It's definitely a career path driven by passion and like a true belief in the power of politics.
Absolutely. And speaking of passion, one thing I found really interesting in the RoleCatcher guides was this emphasis on transferable skills.
Oh, yeah, they had a whole section on that.
Right.
It basically said, even if you decide that being a political a wide range of other.
Exactly. We're talking about things like communication, strategic thinking, problem solving, budgeting, even data analysis, all of which are highly sought after in today's job market. So it's almost like getting a crash course in essential career skills
Right.
with a side of political intrigue.
And who knows, those networking opportunities alone could lead to some pretty amazing connections.
It's true. You never know who you might meet at a fundraiser or a strategy meeting.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So even if you're not planning on like dedicating your life to a particular political party,
Right.
exploring this career path could still be a smart move.
Absolutely. It's all about expanding your horizons and gaining valuable experience that can benefit you in countless ways.
Well said. So we've talked about the day-to-day responsibilities, the work environment, the pros and cons, even what it takes to get started and climb the ladder. But I think there's one big question we haven't quite answered yet.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
What does it really take to be a successful political party agent?
Okay.
Is it just about being super organized and a master of spreadsheets?
Yeah.
Or is there something more, that intangible it factor that separates the rising stars from the rest?
That's a great question. And I think it goes beyond just the technical skills. It's about having a deep understanding of the political landscape, a knack for reading people and anticipating their needs, and a genuine passion for the issues at hand.
So you're saying it takes a certain amount of intuition and emotional intelligence to really excel in this role?
Exactly. It's about being able to navigate those complex interpersonal dynamics, build trust, and inspire others to get behind a shared vision.
And maybe a little bit of luck never hurts either.
You can't control everything, but I think the most successful party agents are the ones who are adaptable, resilient, and always willing to learn and evolve with the ever-changing political tides.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. Huge thanks to you for taking us behind the curtain of this surprisingly influential role.
It's been my pleasure.
Yep.
Always happy to shed light on the often overlooked players in the world of politics.
And for our listeners, if you're feeling inspired to explore this career path further, be sure to check out RoleCatcher's website. They have a wealth of information on political party agents, as well as tons of other fascinating careers you might not even know existed. Think of it as your secret weapon for navigating the ever-evolving job market. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.